when they eventually lock, they do kind of loosen. So if your hands are always in your hair during that process, it's going to unravel. Hi guys, welcome back to our channel, The Masegos. I am Michelle Masego, one half of The Masegos, and welcome back to another Microlocs video. I hope you've been enjoying the videos so far in this series, and yeah, please do share them with someone who's considering starting the journey, or if you just enjoy me talking about my journey and just want to see how it unfolds, please, I appreciate the support and just stay tuned as well. But yeah, without further ado, today's video is about how I am preventing unraveling in my hair. And I think it's been working pretty well for me because I haven't had any twists, because so I started my locks out with 2-strand twists, and I haven't had any locks unravel outright where I feel like loose hair or like it's really bad. Like I've been able to catch it not even halfway. I don't think there's anyone that I found like halfway, just probably maybe a little bit um unraveling, but no slippage and all of that stuff. And I think it's because I did a lot of research. I'm one of those who do a lot of research before I embark on a journey or whatever project. um excuse me. And I think there were just also a lot of good methods and practices that I've just been implementing off the bat that have been helping me. So I just thought, let me share those with whoever might be struggling with unraveling or doesn't want to have to deal with it when they start their own microlocs journey, particularly with 2-strand twists, because I think most of these tips can apply to all kinds of methods that you start your microlocs with. But particularly with 2-strand twists, there are some tips that I think will really be beneficial for you there. So yeah, the first tip, I have them written down here. So if I look down a bit, it's because I'm just looking at my notes. The first tip, I think is a very obvious one, but keeping my hands out of my hair, which I have struggled with, to be fair. So I don't know why I'm writing it down as if I've been like a king with it, but like keeping my hands out of my hair has really helped, because I feel like when I do struggle with unraveling, it's because I've been fiddling with my hair and I just have this hand and hair syndrome and I can't stop. And then I end up causing some sort of like unraveling, or I pick up unraveling when I feel like the hair was just naturally going through the locking process. Because for your hair to expand and for the shed hairs to then form the lock, the twist can't be super tight, so it eventually will kind of loosen, right? I think someone else explained it in a video really well. I think I'll link the video down below. It will kind of loosen and stuff so that the lock can really like form. That's why with comb coils they lock pretty quickly, like those who start traditional locks with comb coils, because like it's hollow within and there's just so much room for the shed hairs to go in that the hair locks quicker, or locks the quickest in that form. So 2-strand twists also, like if you when they eventually lock, they do kind of loosen. So if your hands are always in your hair during that process, it's going to unravel. So keeping your hands out of your hair, I know it's tough. I know it's just beautiful. You're like, oh my goodness, I've never seen myself in this manner. If like, let's say you didn't previously rock 2-strand twists to begin with, and you're just like so excited to be starting a lock journey, and your hands are just in your hair, keep them out. Particularly for myself, I've given myself a challenge this March to keep my hands out of my hair. So moving on to my, I guess it's like an additional tip to this tip: wear a bonnet if you must. Like, so I wear a bonnet on weekends. I'm filming this video currently over the weekend, so I would be having my bonnet on right now just to keep my hands out, because during the week, I mean, my hair's out and it needs the elements to help it lock, and the air and the humidity and all of the stuff that's in there to lock. But over the weekend it can take a break, and it also helps me not fiddle as much because I've less to do over the weekend, so my hand and hair syndrome can be worse. So bonnet on. But yeah, wear a bonnet if you need to. Keep yourself busy, like just keep your hands out of your hair. And like, honestly, such an underrated tip, but it's really important. Like, keep your hands out of your hair. Next tip would be, when I do moisturize my hair and I wet my hair in the morning and in the evening now, because I'm doing it twice a day, I don't touch my hair in that process. I just wet it, maybe give it a good shake, and then leave it alone until it dries, because it's most vulnerable when it's wet in that state. So if I'm going to fiddle in my hands, like use my hands to fiddle in my hair, just to maybe try fix it and lay it out the way I want it to lay, that is when most where I'm most prone to unraveling. So when I wet my hair or I moisturize it with rose water or just plain water, whatever you moisturize your locks with, just leave them alone afterwards for a good 5 minutes at least, depending on how quickly your hair dries. That depends on your hair porosity. I have low porosity hair, so yeah, and I don't think my hair is that much in density as well, so it dries pretty quickly. So 5 minutes, I just need to leave my hair alone, and don't and if I feel that it's still wet, I leave it. Like, I immediately get my hands out of my hair so that I allow it to be dry, and then once it's dry, I can then go in and maybe fix the locks where I need them to lay in terms of parting and styling, but don't do it while the hair is wet. Right. Next tip would be braiding and banding when washing my locks. So that was a common tip. That's a very common one that is advised by many. But it's very important because I think you need to braid and band your hair. So I braid and band my hair, where you just braid and then maybe put a band at the ends. But obviously, don't braid tightly at the root so that you're able to get to your scalp when you do wash your hair. But don't leave your hair loose and then expect no unraveling. I have not, since I started my journey, I'm only 7 weeks in. I have not just washed it loosely because I am not trying to deal with unraveling. I don't want the stress. I'm trying to make sure my hair is able to lock in due time and not slow down the process. So just braid and band. I don't know how long I'll braid and band for, probably a year. I'm in no rush to just, stop the process because I don't want to cause any issues. But yeah, braid and band your hair at least for, I don't even know how long because it really depends on your hair texture. So I can't even say at least 6 months or something. But braid and band your hair as long as possible, to just make sure your locks get to mature. And once they mature, especially if you're going to a professional, they'll tell you when your locks are mature and when you don't need to braid and band anymore. But if you're a DIYer like myself, then yeah, I think you just have to monitor your hair and really um make sure that you stop at a point where you are really sure that your hair has matured. And for me, I definitely won't stop under a year. Post a year, I'll evaluate. But if I still have to braid and band afterwards, that's fine. I wash my hair every 2 weeks. The braiding and banding process is not that tedious. I think it's okay. So yeah, just protect the integrity of your hair in the process and don't slow down yourself unnecessarily. So yeah. And then the last tip, when I do experience unraveling, just to prevent, because my nape area is where my hair is the softest. So with those particular locks and maybe some others that I have like partially had to fix with some unraveling, I have braided a little bit at the ends. So yes, I would twist it back, but then I would braid the ends so that I don't experience that unraveling, especially with my locks that are really in my nape area, because that hair is so soft and so prone to unraveling, and it rubs against your collar. So there's a lot of manipulation. So I just save myself the stress and I braided just the ends so that the unraveling wouldn't happen anymore. So that's a tip that you can use if your hair is really soft and you're struggling with unraveling. I know in some videos I've watched, they say that it might affect the texture in your locks, but I personally feel like locks, it's not a perfect manicured hairstyle. I know for me as a DIY, my locks already are not equal in size all around because I was doing it myself and I did it myself over a number of days. So already that affected the consistency in lock size. So it's not perfect as well. So I don't mind like if it affects the texture or look for certain locks. I think it just adds character to my hair. So yeah, if you're someone who's very particular and you want your locks to be super uniform, then maybe braiding your ends or braiding some ends might not be the best approach for you, but then you just retwist. And when you retwist, don't retwist too tightly, retwist gahle or just properly. And you eventually your hair will learn to stay that way, and then keep your hands out of your hair, and it will be fine. It will eventually be fine. So yeah, those are my tips for this video, guys. Not a long video at all. I hope these tips were useful. Please drop down some tips if you are someone who's locked as well and you have tips to offer. Please, I also would appreciate the tips just to help me further prevent unraveling in my locks. But as always, please do like, share, comment, and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you next time for another video. Bye.